Welcome in the third section. In this section, we'll be using OAuth 2 with Spring Boot microservice. So we'll start from explanation of OAuth 2. In the second video, we'll be configuring OAuth 2 with Spring. In the third video, we'll be exploring OAuth 2 Spring application workflow. In the last video, we'll be testing our application that will be secured by OAuth 2. And this is a first video in which we'll be doing OAuth 2 explanation. So we'll be understanding how OAuth 2 is working and what parameters OAuth client needs to have configured, because this is the most important thing. Once you will tweak and configure those parameters properly, you will see that your application and flow will be easy. But firstly, we need to understand those parameters and why we need them. So let's recap OAuth flow at the beginning. At the left-hand side, we have client application. This is our Spring Boot application that we will be developing in this section. Next, we have user entity. User in this example is just a user that is opening our website. So this is a client. Next, we have authorization server that is responsible for generating OAuth tokens, and resource servers. So let's go through that flow. At the beginning, user is issuing authorization. So he wants to go to our web page, but has no access yet because he didn't log in. So he is issuing authorization request. He gets authorization grant. So we know that this user is that specific user. But this is not enough. Using that authorization grant, we need to go to the authorization server to get access token. Once we will have that access token, we need to go to the resource server that is returning actual protected resources. So in this example, resource server could be also our Spring Boot application backend. So resource server and client application could be the same application, but not necessarily. So in this flow, we have user, then authorization server that could be third-party API that is getting request and is returning access token that could be then used to authenticate next request. So every request will need to have the header with that access token in it. If that token will not be passed in the HTTP request, then our resource server will not know that this is authenticated user. That's why we need to use it. Let's go through most important parameters that are used in the OAuth protocol. So first one is client ID. This is your application ID. This is a unique identifier of the server that will be using that token. Next, we have client secret. When we want to access some resource, app specifies client secret, and this is used to initialize OAuth 2 process on with the server. So server is responsible for generating the client secret, and you are not supposed to share it anywhere. It should be stick to your application. Once you have that client secret, you can execute request to get an actual token, and this is access token URI. So this is a URI when you can get an actual token. If your application is integrating with OAuth, the first login is a bit different because, for example, at the first login, user needs to type username and password. So if the user has no token yet, we need to redirect it to user authorization URI. So we'll redirect to that specific parameter. And also additional parameter that is very useful is user info URI. This is an URI when you can get additional information about that user without exposing it to end user, and also you don't need to ask end user explicitly about it because OAuth server often has more information for the specific user